Unfortunately, there is a lot of infighting amongst drivers. Drivers claim if you're part of this program, you won't have to worry about this, and if you're part of this program, you won't have to worry about that. But at the end of the day, most markets are slowing down. Meanwhile, you have DoorDash giving half-truths and bragging about squeezing more orders in the same period of time. This can make reality quite convoluted for both drivers and outsiders. But when restaurants start speaking up, I think it's worth listening to them. See, restaurants aren't affected by gimmicky programs or acceptance rates. They just get their orders, they prepare them, and a driver shows up to pick them up. Today, we're going to talk about an article I stumbled upon this morning written by Business Insider, and it's quite telling. As always, the sources I'm quoting will be in the description. You should definitely check it out for yourself. Really quick, before we get into the video, I want you to pause it and tell me if you're part-time or if you're full-time. So, what are restaurants saying? Well, these restaurants are reporting that they're seeing an overall decline in orders placed through DoorDash and Uber Eats, but they're seeing an incline in orders placed on their website, and then the customer comes in and picks them up. We're not talking about no-name mom-and-pop restaurants like Crazy Earl's Crab Legs. We're talking about places like Wendy's, Dickey's Barbecue Pit, and Uno Pizzeria. Actually, is it Uno Pizzeria? Hopefully it's Uno Pizzeria, but apparently they're in like 16 states. Just not mine. So why are customers ditching third-party delivery apps like DoorDash and Uber Eats in favor of going and picking it up themselves? I mean, the convenience is sure nice, so what gives? Well, I have a theory. That shit's expensive. With inflation continuing to rise and wages remaining stagnant, customers are looking for the best deal possible, and oftentimes that means them getting off the couch and going and getting it themselves. And when people tighten the purse strings, it's always the luxuries that go first. And due to wages not going up with inflation, there's hundreds of thousands of new drivers flooding the markets. Matter of fact, in my market on DoorDash, if I were to refer a driver, I would receive a whopping $20 whole. That's not the point. The point is people are looking for a way to make ends meet with rising costs. So they turn to what's easy. DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Shipt, Spark, you name it. Because wages are not matching inflation, people are feeling the pinch and they're turning to apps like DoorDash and Uber Eats to help themselves make more money. More drivers, less orders equals a problem. One of the aforementioned restaurants talked about how their third-party deliveries are down by about 10%. Meanwhile, their in-person pickups that were placed online are up about 10%. And with that, they're seeing more people than ever using coupons and loyalty points, something that you cannot do on DoorDash or Uber Eats. A little while ago, I mentioned that these services are very expensive. Matter of fact, my last order that I placed through DoorDash, I ordered one entree for lunch for just myself. And I ended up spending about as much as I would have spent for two people for dinner. You will never convince me any different that this is not a luxury service, and people do pay out the ass for a luxury service. But with your average American having less money going around, they're kissing deliveries goodbye. Over the last few months, I put out a few shorts trying to educate customers about how much drivers actually make and where their fees are going. And one of the most common things that I hear is I'm paying enough for the service and I'm not going to tip, or I'm going to tip very little. Most customers seem to be completely oblivious to the fact that we're going to make anywhere from $2 to $3 on their order before they tip. These apps give the customers zero transparency about where their money is actually going and how much the driver is pocketing. So with these rising fees on top of the expensive order to begin with, it's the driver who gets shafted. Now, let's not forget, we don't get any kind of a gas or, oh shit, my car broke down bonus. We are out of pocket for everything that we need to do this job. A few days ago, I had to dump another $500 into my car. Although I can write it off, I will not see a cent of that covered by DoorDash or Uber Eats. So, to summarize, we are now having restaurants chime in saying, yeah, it's slowing down for these apps, so it's not just the drivers and the infighting amongst ourselves about who gets priority and who doesn't. This is coming from a completely unbiased source. The lockdowns are over and people do not want to keep paying these fees. So, what does all this mean for drivers? I want to preface this by saying I am not trying to fearmonger, I'm not trying to be Mr. Doom and Gloom over here, but I will always call it how I see it. When it's 5:30 in the evening on a Sunday and it's raining in my market, and I can go an hour with seeing 2 orders, it's problematic. We're doing this to make extra money, and the customers are not ordering to save money. I believe that we're in for the slowest summer that we have ever had on food delivery apps. I'm a firm believer that in most markets, you can make a full-time living with gig apps, assuming you're multi-apping appropriately. Having said that, is the writing on the wall? Is it time to start thinking about a plan B or a plan C? If you're having to wait an hour in between insultingly low-paying orders, then why are you doing it? I'm not sitting here telling you to go work a W-2 job. Only you know if you really need to do that. What I am saying is you always need to adapt to changing market conditions. If it's slow in your market, try a different one. If DoorDash is dead, open Uber Eats. If Uber Eats is dead, open Instacart. If delivery is dead, period, sign up for rideshare. Step out of your comfort zone. Not doing so isn't going to make you any more money. Explore different times to be out. There's always something new that you can do or you can try to yield different results. I want to leave you with this thought. In the beginning of the video, I asked you to pause it and tell me if you're part-time or full-time. When I was working on my talking points for this video, I was thinking to myself, it's really the part-timers who are going to get screwed over here. But then I got to thinking about it, because the part-timers are usually bound by some sort of a W-2 job, whereas the full-timers can be out whenever they want. Let me know in the comments section if you agree with my synopsis or if you think I've got it completely backwards. If you have any tips for other drivers during the slow periods, please do share your expertise in the comment section. If you haven't done so yet, please do consider pressing the like and subscribe button. My name is Zach. Take care. Fuck is that? Is that a fucking tsunami warning? That's a tsunami warning. Okay, it said test.